Miami Heat, 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 Miami Heat. It feels like Miami.
Welcome to season 11 of the Miami Heat podcast. I'm your host, Giancarlo Navas, episode 500. With me today, reality check master Tiffany Meeks.
Oh, so long, y'all. So long. It's been so long.
Apparently, I echoed. It's been a bit. I had a thing turned on OBS. It should be fixed right now. We also have Franky G. 2K.
Some things change, some things don't. G.
Listen, I haven't turned on any stream equipment since like July, so you know what I mean. It's been dry month, and
G's asleep at the wheel.
I'm asleep at the wheel. We got Saucy Take, Coach Lou. What's up, Lou?
Hey man, what is up, man? I'm excited to be back, man. A great season ahead.
Listen,
Point blank period shit. Whatever happens.
Year 11 of Heat Beat. You guys have endured us for a decade plus. We love and appreciate you. 500 episodes of this shit, including Hangover Time. So we love you guys. Great support. But we have a lot to get to today. We haven't talked a lot. I was on Twitter yet a day ago saying how I was sick of Damian Lillard talk and I would not participate. Only for 23 hours later to be so back. I was never more back. I got a text. It was just the Mona Lisa. That's the only text I got. And I was so back. I was back. And here we are. We're at Friday, September 22nd. And we're going to go around the panel and everybody and kind of talk about what we feel. But I just kind of wanted to lay out what I've been hearing. Because, listen, I want to go do some reporting. I want to go talk to people. I'm trying to get a picture of what's going on. And I feel like I know two things. I feel the one thing I know for sure is the Raptors are the team to worry about in terms of who Miami's main competition to get Lillard is. I heard from more than one person that deal was close. That deal was close as recently as yesterday, late into the evening, and it fell apart. And I heard that the Raptors and them are getting back into conversation. So I feel pretty good about that because I've heard that from enough people that I feel like from enough different people that feels like solid to me, and it makes sense given what's being reported by national people. The other thing I feel pretty confident about is there's some sort of framework of this trade that the Heat are trying to find that includes Indiana and Phoenix, in which Miami gets Buddy Hield. And again, this is something I've heard from about 4 independent people that they bring in Hield in kind of a construction like that. And we have Caleb going to Phoenix and a bunch of stuff, and Ayton going to and salary, probably Lowry, going to Portland, and then Hero going to Indiana. So I feel like if those are the teams involved, that's a kind of construction that makes sense. And again, that part's not reporting. The Hield stuff I feel pretty good about, that the Heat are exploring that kind of trade scenario. But that's kind of what I know. And Tiff, we talked a lot. So I guess I want to, we're going to bring in some more panelists right now. But as I do that, Tiff, I want to get your thoughts with your new glasses. How are we feeling? Because that's what I know and that's what I feel right now. Like, those are the only things I feel comfortable saying.
Even with all that, I think I'm still where I was 2 months ago. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, I think that, like, we know, what do we know? We know the facts. The Heat want Dame. Dame want the Heat. We also know, like, if there's only one offer out there outside of the Heat, how much are the Heat willing to say, have at it, right? Like, choose from the cupboard. If there's literally no one out there, and if the Raptors are out, then the Heat are probably going to sit back and say, why am I giving you everything if nobody else wants to dance at this party? So There's so many things at play. There's so many rumors. There's so many things happening. There's two things you just know for a fact. Dame want the Heat want Dame. That's it. I think everything else, even if there are talks and there's a skeleton framework with 5 different teams, at the end of the day, Portland has to honestly, one, succumb to the peer pressure, because now that's all it is. It's just peer pressure. And two, they have to openly admit they are ready to have their rebuild with the young guys. Like, this is literally where we are. Do I want Dame? I mean, hell, at this part, I've been grocery shopping with no money. Yes, I'm waiting. I'm waiting just like everybody else. I want Dame because I want Jimmy to have Dame. This is where I'm at.
Franky, I know that there's a lot of information out there. How are you feeling on, and what do you feel comfortable that you know? Because there's a lot of reporting. We have Barry Jackson talking that the Heat and the Blazers have not engaged a lot, and I trust that Barry's information is coming, from the organization. You have Woj saying, yeah, these people aren't talking, and I don't know how much I believe that. Tiff and I talked that they might be talking through like Phoenix or these other teams trying to make this happen. But you see that, and how do we feel?
Yeah, I definitely think like Tiff said, like the offer is what it is right now. Until there's a change in it, there's no reason for Miami to up their offer until Miami's facing and competing with somebody else that's a concrete offer, not just flowing out. What do you think about this? Like, hey, we're offering you this. This is where we stand. That and Portland comes back to Miami on the table and see what's there. Say, hey, can you bid more? What can we get? This is where you're competing against. Give us more than that, and we'll talk. I need a counter offer. You're going back to the table, back and forth, because Miami's, for the longest time, we've heard of the reports from all of Miami media that there hasn't been talk since Summer League because the offer is what it is. They're not going to compete up against themselves. Now we're hearing the pressure is a little bit on. More teams are getting involved now. Like Portland's finally seeking out other teams and multi-team trades. So it is what it is until something happens. I'm with Tiff. I'm just waiting on something concrete to happen. I don't trust Woj. He's the Cronin puppet, and he's trying to put pressure on Miami. And Miami's, I think Miami's does have some pressure. I don't think it's as easy as Miami can just go into the season and wait on Dame. Like I think that's the worst case scenario. If they have to wait, if the season starts and Dame's in Portland or on another team and they're trying to wait to make a trade happen in season, I think that's awful. That there's very few examples of a team. A championship team with making that big of a trade in season. You really want training camp to sort things out, sort rotations out, sort chemistry out, give them the whole time. So I think there's pressure on Miami to get things done as quickly as possible as well.
We welcome in the great Siobhan. Bon, how are you doing? Oh, what happened there? Where's Bon? Bon, where are you? Where'd you go? There you go. She's back. And there she goes again. How we doing?
But it is
roll out of bed. Damian Lillard.
What's up? So Lou, listen, I gotta be honest with you. So there's no audio. This is bad. Lou, while I fix the audio, can you guys hear me? Yeah, you can hear me.
Yes.
Lou, piggyback off what Franky said while I fix Bond. While I find her again.
Got you. So, no, yeah. My view on this whole situation is kind of like everybody is playing like a little bit of a media war, and it's to be expected because I feel like the Portland Trailblazers are going to do their due diligence as a team. They're going to try to do things to make the Heat up their offer, as they probably should, as much as I hate to say that. But I think at the end of the day, Damian Lillard told him what he wanted. He's restated it in plenty of interviews. I know everybody's seen the last one where he said, who would you like to play with? And he said, shit, if I say something, I might get fined. So I'm just going to be quiet. Everybody knows what the answer is. Like, And I don't think Portland can afford to trade him anywhere else. So I'm still in wait and see mode. I know that they're trying to get the Heat to up their offer. I feel like the Heat are confident in their offer, and I feel like they know this as much as anybody else. Does he come? Will he come? I think so. Does it matter? I think the team got better anyways. But realistically, yes, Dame, you want Dame. Like I feel like that should be, above all else. So we're just gonna wait here and we're gonna see, and we're gonna let Woj do his little puppetry, and then Windhorse say something else, and then you're gonna get the now. What does this mean? And we're just gonna wait, because at the end of the day, I put up a poll like before October 9th. Do you think Damian Lillard is gonna be a Heat? I don't think so. I think it's gonna take longer than that. Apparently, people are saying October 3rd now. I don't know what's gonna happen. I feel like nobody knows what's gonna happen. The only people who know what's gonna happen is Joe Cronin himself. Not even Damian Lillard knows at this point. So I don't know if he will shoot himself in the foot that bad. Like this is the best player you've probably ever had, and you're just gonna treat him like absolute. Let me not, man.
You say it. Say what you mean, Lou.
Say
he's just gonna treat him like absolute dog shit. Like your opinion doesn't matter. This man sold his he gave up his entire future, his possibility to win rings just because of his loyalty. He's already proven to you how loyal he is. This is the franchise's moment to prove loyalty back to their best player ever. And if they fold that shit, man, Scoot's not sticking around either. So it is what it is. No matter what they believe in Scoot, no matter what they believe in Shaedon Sharpe, no matter what they believe in anybody, I mean, it's not like Portland's a good fucking team anyways, but maybe they're like, fuck it, we suck. So we can take 15 years of getting shamed so we can be good again. But I don't think they'll do that to themselves or their fans. That's disrespectful to your fans. As much as they're saying like people are turning on Lillard, that man gave them their everything. I'm pretty sure I can speak for myself. When Dwayne Wade left after we did him dirty, and rightfully so, he should have left. He wanted to go get his bag. I was not hurt by Wade leaving. I said, Wade, go get your money.
Mm-hmm. Same.
I wish them the best, man. But I'm seeing a lot of Portland fans saying "fuck Dame" and this. Man, don't say that, man. Don't. That man is literally the reason y'all have tasted anything
Be honest
of
with
glory.
yourselves, Blazers fans.
Take a fucking look in the mirror. Respect the Shmee.
I think we can properly welcome Bon. Bon, how are you doing?
Can we hear me? Am I okay?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
believe so. We're
Hello,
back.
people.
We're back.
What's up, man? Welcome back. Back from break. Jump right into it.
Back from break. Jump right into it. So, Bon, chat's very happy to see you. Everybody's beaming. They love you. They're very excited.
Hi, chat.
Bon, so what we were kind of talking about is, I was kind of laying out the things that I feel comfortable saying that we know as of today. The Raptors kind of coming in, the whole other angle with Phoenix and potentially Indiana. So that kind of leaves us at a crossroad with what Barry Jackson just reported and what Woj said on television. And I kind of think that Miami's at a place right now where they don't, and Ethan made this point on Twitter, that he don't want to feign desperation. I kind of think they're going at that a little too aggressively right now. I think that they should probably try to engage a little more rather than, wait for Cronin to kind of run out of options. Yeah, that's kind of where I am. And I had a feeling that you might feel strongly about that.
But I feel the exact way. So I understand there's something to, right, like not looking desperate. But, truth be told, not that you made yourself look desperate taking this route, but this is what you opened yourself up to, choosing to go about it this way. You are the one that just came off of the finals appearance. You are the one that have been to 2 finals the last 4 years, ECF 3 times last. Like you are the one in the position to where you kind of want people to want you. But this is the route that we've chose. We want Damon. So if that's what it is, like I've seen people, saying that Dame needs to do more and all of this. There's nothing else for Damian to do. He's made it clear what he wants. He's made it clear he doesn't want to be there. He's made it clear where he wants to be. The NBA has sent out fucking memos saying, we can't operate this way. So there's nothing super petty, but I get it. And to an extent, there's nothing else for him to do. It's between Cronin and Miami to be the ones to get it done. Joe, I've given you 11 years. You told me we were doing this, said we were doing that. It's a bunch of people talking over there. I don't know if it's Joe, Judy, or, kind of whoever's running it over there. And then Miami, like, I've told y'all this is where I want to be. This is where I want to be. And, y'all kind of got me out here just not wading in the wind a little bit, but kind of
No,
like,
girl, waiting in the wind.
like for real, like if you want me and if I'm of this value to you, then you need to, I agree that you need to be more proactive in like, you know, saying what it is that you're willing to. I disagree with the idea that Miami is supposed to wait for Portland to tell us what they want. Like, no, they don't want to give him up, period. Like, or do or don't, and however that's dissolved. But you are the ones who want to go get him. So, in my opinion, the onus is on you to state what it is you're willing to give up. Then see, you know, they don't like that. Okay, cool. Maybe we can offer you this, that, and that. So I agree. If you know this is the path that we want to take, and if Dame is someone that you covet or value as much as it's been made clear that you do by this being the path that you chose, and the market's kind of dried up a bit, then it's on you to be a bit more ardent and a bit more kind of proactive in getting it done. And that's a morale thing. That's like a Dame. If I'm Dame, I'm like, damn, y'all said y'all wanted me, and y'all out here, you know, kind of playing tiddlywinks. I done made myself low key a little bit of a villain, and now I'm catching all this stuff. Like, just get it done.
So my thing right now with Miami is you're kind of. I think the idea of like they haven't offered anything. I mean, they don't have like what is everything, right? And I guess that's like a question for the Blazers, right? Like I'm sure that Miami's picks are all in play. I mean, I've heard Caleb Martin's name, which was a piece that I think we all wondered if that would be a hard line for them building a contender. And it just appears that all that's kind of in play, just judging from that's educated conjecture from everything I hear. So it's kind of weird as like, okay, well, Portland's like clearly not interested in that. Whether we can have the discussion on whether it is a value or it's not, again, at that point, it's irrelevant. They don't seem interested in that. So this has to be this is not going to be a 2-team trade. At this point, right. I just think that bridge is just not going to get crossed. I think that Cronin has made it very clear that this is his position. And I think also he needs to save face. You cannot do what he does and then go back on that and then take a deal that you have publicly kind of shit on. So I think he needs a third team to make it palatable so that you can, because at the end of the day, and people are like, oh, these are just Twitter narratives. Buddy, PR is a huge arm of every single giant company ever. Optics and public opinion is important. It's not just Twitter narrative. He cannot look other GMs in the face after he said all that and then went. He needs something. He's the Denzel meme. Right. I'm gonna leave with something, right?
Right. Right.
I'm leaving.
Right.
With
and no, and that's where they're at today. So they gotta find that third team. And it seems like Riley is just like, eventually you're gonna come here. Because that's a 33-year-old on a Supermax deal that's going to be unhappy anywhere he goes. And from what I hear, the Raptors are not going to give Scotty Barnes for that. Other people,
neither would I.
You know, you don't trade. You know, so it's like, what kind of packages are you going to be able to get for that kind of guy? And maybe a guy like Masai Ujiri, who has job security, who has clout, who has all these like important things, is going to be able to take a risk and make a trade like that. But that's kind of what Cronin's betting on. And Riley's betting on, no one's that stupid. And it's kind of this fucked up game of chicken that they're playing, you know? And that's kind of where we're at.
And have we just meaning anyone, discussed that maybe they're not playing chicken? Maybe they just are really not interested in the Heat at all.
Who, the Blazers?
Yeah, like that needs to be a conversation also.
Oh no, they're not interested in what we have. In what Miami has. Yeah.
And here's the other thing. Everything that could be shaken out today, the Heat might not be involved at all. We also have to look. You gotta play devil's advocate and say he could still be moved, and it has nothing to do with Miami. Like, that's the other side with it. Because if he doesn't want to pick up Pat Riley's calls, he also might say, I'm not building no bridge for Dame to walk over to Miami. Like, these are also things that are just reality.
Oh, and I think they've made that clear, Tiff. I think they've made it clear that they want a good offer.
And other people don't want to admit that it could just be he's literally saying, I'm not sending him to you, period.
Yep. I will say, sorry to cut anybody off here, but
No, go ahead.
Chris Haynes, NBA Central just put up Chris Haynes saying Portland is refusing to talk to Miami.
So
that's
okay.
a little different than the Heat.
Interesting words.
Yeah.
Refusing.
Refusing is
Right.
exactly, that's the key word, because the reports we were getting earlier was the Heat aren't engaged in talks. You can't
Right.
engage with somebody if they don't want to talk to you.
Exactly. But this is
You
why
can't. You think Cronin has
this is
Riley
where I'm at.
blocked?
Yes.
No,
No.
facts.
When Riley called, it says spam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spam
Potential risk.
It's got an old man emoji.
Exactly.
Spam
But that's
likely.
where-
Spam likely.
Right. Exactly. So that's where I'm kind of like, my brain keeps going to like, he they've realized, okay, we do need to trade him, but I'm not fucking with the Heat. And if you call me and you're saying, I'll give you this dude and we're going to send this dude here, and I know eventually this is routing Dame to Miami, they don't want to play. So I understand. And that literally goes back to what you just said. Cronin has said all these things about how bad Miami's package is. And then we have to listen to, the reporters in the beginning, the Heat, blah, blah, blah. They're going to get their guy. They don't need to offer anything. They could just sit back and wait, and they'll realize, and they'll send Dame here, there. So guess what? As you said, Cronin's listening to all of this. Other GMs are listening to all this. So just like they said, they don't want players saying, send me here, send me there. Guess what they're telling Cronin? The buck stops here. This is why this is playing out. Everybody's trying to save face.
And that's kind of the interesting kind of element of this is like, it's also a guy that's like, the one thing I'll say that I don't really like the way Riley played it. I think Riley played it too strong. Like, I think he overplayed his leverage that I do think that the Heat had, but I think it backed Cronin into a corner. And man, people in corners,
people feel intimidated, and you're not going to bully.
They do wild shit when they're scared, Bond. They do wild shit.
Fight or flight.
And I'm fighting this time. I let CJ go. I let whoever else go. And
that deal was a disaster for them, by the way. That CJ trade, and
every
also,
trade they've made has been a disaster.
Every trade they've made in the last 7 years.
He who shall not be named that got moved to the Knicks. That was also a really bad move for them as well, because he was a productive
player. They let CJ
player.
and Larry go to freaking New Orleans.
Nothing.
They moved Norman Powell and Robert Covington, who they traded like 2 picks for Robert Covington. They traded those guys for Eric Bledsoe.
There you go.
Like, bangers. Hold up now.
Yep.
What are they doing? I have no idea.
And it's like we keep counting on people to keep being dumb and to keep making these same mistakes. At some point,
and then they pay Grant.
Yeah. At some point, people wise up and like, you know what? Either I'm going to do better because I want to do better, or I'm going to do better because I'm being bullied into doing better, and to spite Miami. Like the whole kind of hubris that Miami has about themselves, or that Heat fans have about themselves, or just however it's projected to like national media is off-putting, and I don't know why we kind of don't see it.
And I honestly, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off, but like if we just look at the totality of it. With basketball, that's all we're looking at. Not for nothing, Portland should be happy to get somebody like Tyler, like to get somebody with that raw talent that they could get into their system and mold him how they want him to be, because he's coming to you with oodles of raw talent, right? But let me tell you what also happened. All of a sudden, you got people whispering in Cronin's ear, you really gonna trade Dame for Tyler? He's not that good. He that. So
you're gonna let him do that to you?
You know exactly. All of these things are just like bad relationships. You start getting all your friends' advice, and you get back into a point.
You know, Frankie, I wanted to loop you in on this. The other aspect of this that I think is funny is, I think Portland knows what Miami has, and I don't really know how much talking there is. So the idea of like Portland, like they know the second that they want it done, that's a phone call. right?
Mhm.
So that's like the other aspect of I think that's overplayed a little bit. Then I don't think they need to talk. I think that the third teams are the ones that are key here, which I do feel. I do think that they are trying to get Toronto. I think they'd rather take a Toronto trade. So I think that they have, it would appear, that they've resuscitated whatever's going on there, and they're going to try to see who gets desperate to give them what they want. And I even think they take a worse deal. But, it kind of puts Miami in a spot where it's like, well, I guess it's just like, fuck it, we ball. We go into training camp. But I do think that the Blazers also want to get it done before training camp. And I think that it's not a coincidence that about 2 weeks before this all is supposed to happen, they have seemed a little bit more motivated to go find a dance partner.
Yeah, it's like Troppy Baby said today. All the GMs were on vacation. Now they're back in the office.
That was
and
so
they're looking
funny.
at their rosters. And they're like, we should get this done. We should probably get this done. And the Blazers, it came out today. Peter Griffin tweeted out that a lot of Portland's summer rosters or training camp rosters hadn't been finalized, assuming we're waiting for the Dame deal because they don't know how many incoming pieces were going to be in the trade. So they're motivated to get this done too, so they can sign guys, not lose guys that they were wanted to bring into the season. But I don't understand like Portland's logic. Like, I follow Blazers fans. I love the Blazers. I've loved the Blazers since Brandon Roy. I've followed the Blazers for a long time. And I don't understand the logic in anything Cronin's doing. I don't understand. If you hold on Dame, if your plan is to play Dame, which the new memo that came out, you have to play him unless he's hurt. He sprains an ankle, he breaks a leg, he does something. That value is gone. Nobody's trading for him. He's 33, turning 34 or whatever. Nobody's gonna want him at that point, and that's a huge risk for them. I don't understand waiting for that. Plus, you want to be a bad team this year. You don't want Dame taking away minutes from Scoot, from Simons, from whoever comes in a trade, from Shaden. You want those guys playing 40 minutes, making decisions, learning, growing, and developing. And if nobody's like what you mentioned, G, about them taking a worse offer, like you're gonna lose the PR battle even worse. If you send Dame to a different team,
they'll spin it
for a worse offer. Nobody's gonna be on your side of that.
They'll spin it. And I want to say one thing, and everybody knows I publicly don't like Joe Cronin, and I've been making fun of him, and I think he's bad at his job. I will say that waiting has seemed to help him, because before it was a deal without Ayton, and now it's a deal with all that stuff and Ayton. So I'll give him credit for that. Now, whether that was worth torpedoing a relationship with a superstar is a different conversation. But bottom line, waiting until the deadline is the right thing to do, quote unquote, but it might not be the best long-term thing for your organization.
Right. Just to counter that, though, we've heard that the Heat have been open to making this trade a multi-team trade from the beginning. And they've said, what do you want? We'll try to get those pieces. Yeah. And they've tried to communicate, and the Blazers haven't wanted to communicate. We've heard that from multiple sources. So this Ayton thing, this could have possibly happened early on. This could have benefited them all earlier on if they moved ahead of this and not waited. Just like it could have benefited Cronin. To be honest with Dame, we've heard that Dame was more open to more teams but Cronin kept lying to his face, and Dame said, "All right, fuck you. I'm going. I only want to go to Miami. Go get that."
Yep.
Yeah.
So the other thing. The other kind of interesting aspect of kind of everything that's going on, everything that's swirling kind of these trade talks for Miami and all this stuff is they have young guys that don't know what's going to go on. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the org's fault, as well. I think they overestimated their hand, and it's kind of gone in a way that I don't think that they wanted to. And now, listen, Hero clearly is aware of what's happening. I think we all know that. Oh, Jaquez and Jovic and all these guys, which is, I think they know the deal. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When Gogi got traded for Lowry, Gogi Gogi understood. Gogi wasn't mad at the organization. Clearly wants to come back. These players know that this is a business, and that's not some sort of backstabbing betrayal. Because I actually do think the Heat are pretty good about telling guys, hey, I'm going to give you this money. We're probably going to move you at some point. They did it with Redacted. They did it with Gogi. That's just kind of a move. Like, we will give you this lump sum of cash, and we're going to move you. I'm sure they've communicated this with Lowry as well and all that stuff. So that part, but the fact that they're in limbo, right? That it's I don't even know, not these are young guys. I don't think they have kids that are in school, but it's like, do my kids have to go to school? Like, if Yakis, do I buy a place? Do I not? Like, Jovic is kind of in the same boat, and these guys and the Blazers young guys, Bond, are in the same boat as well. Like, they have a litany of guards. Are they going to play with Tyler Hero? Are they not? They love Sharp. They just drafted Scoot. They like Simons. Like, where is that going on? Is OG coming into the mix? What does that mean for a guy like Jeremy Grant? You know what I mean? So they have a lot of questions. And Nurk has been very funny on Twitter. I think he's just ready to go too.
I love Nurk.
He's been ready to go.
He is back there just stoking fires.
Yeah, it just had some unfortunate consequences, and I kind of feel bad for the players. Because I think the Heat overestimated how quickly this would get done.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's been part of the whole thing for me. Like, and even so much so with the idea that Miami has their list. The list is the list, and we'll sign the people we want to sign after this. These are human beings. They have lives, responsibilities, and all the other shit to attend to. They need stability. They need security. People just need to have a sense of just knowing, just security and understanding of what's happening, how to plan for things. And it is a business. And you're talking about guys like Gogi and Redacted. They've been in the league long enough to actually see it, kind of manifest in particular ways up close. Jovic been here 2 minutes. Ami's been here a minute. Tyler has been here, and he's been the subject or at least center or a tangential aspect of enough kind of, like, not turmoil is strong, but he's been involved in enough like personnel discussions to where I'm sure he's fucking tired of it. And the money is cool and it's fine and it's all right, but there's something of feeling valued and wanted and cared for as a person, and not just bargaining chips while these two old white men just sit up and just wait for the other one to break. You have humans, you have other people's lives like genuinely entwined in all of this. And I think you accrue kind of like some existential karma unnecessarily, just kind of toying with people's lives and livelihoods, and especially in unnecessary ways. And especially if you could have gotten things done sooner and in a more transparent fashion.
I'm picturing Tyler like, goddamn these crackers.
Not right?
Listen,
he says so in a do-rag.
Exactly. A black one.
I'm out here buying and the tail is tucked
with
under.
The tail wagging,
he tucked the do-rag tail under. Like, Ami just bought a car. Like, bitch, do I need to drive that? Am I cool to drive that around Miami? Do I need to set up, shipping logistics? Like, I just kind of need to know what's happening.
It's comical. No, it's comical. Like, this whole situation is just funny because at the end of the day, like, if you're Miami and Portland gives you, like, you think they're going to be like, oh, okay, so this is the offer we're going to accept. Are you going to up it? Like, do you guys feel uncomfortable if the Heat are like, fuck it, send them everybody? Because the way I look at this is yesterday's value for these players isn't today's value for these players. I personally feel Jovic wasn't valued around the league anywhere near as highly as he was after this FIBA run.
Right.
So all of a sudden,
is he valued after the FIBA run?
He has to be. He was the best player on a runner-up team.
I gotta be honest.
He's only valuable to a person that wants him. You have to look at it that way.
I watched Luis Scola. I've watched Luis Scola dominate enough FIBA tournaments to know that doesn't matter.
But the summer league as well. Like, I'm not saying
he's also younger than Luis Scola, but
he's 19.
I just don't know if that. I don't know how
if it
much
don't
that
shake the
factors.
table for Dame, then he's not valuable because this is where we are right now.
I gotta be honest with you. I only saw Heat fans talking about Jovic during really that run. I don't
To be
think
fair, his games were at like 3 a.m. No, only Heat
Yeah,
fans
like,
were
no
watching
one else was
only
going to be
only
up.
Heat fans and like Brady fucking Hawk.
Yeah, 5 Reasons was doing live streams for those
Right.
games. They're nuts.
I wanted to have Nikias on to talk about Jovic and go, how much have you watched? And Nikias was like, I mean, that's early, man. I'm watching the W, then I got to
and
write. You know what I mean? Like,
I talked to Nikias. Nikias was in Chicago a couple weeks ago. I talked to Nikias and Steve, and we talked about like some of the Jovic stuff. And like, yeah, that South Sudan game was that South Sudan game. Steve is like, South Sudan's help defense was ass the whole time. So like, there is some things to be taken away and some not.
course.
But the point is, like, the buzz period, even while maybe still being minimal, was non-existent.
You
and
mean-
so just
do you mean to tell me that Dennis Schroeder is not an all-star?
man.
Hey, Dennis Schroeder's a good player, though. It's not like
think-
it's a scrub doing
But I'm
this.
curious. to
Luis
get back
Scola
to
wasn't a
what-
scrub either.
No, he was a
good,
dog.
No,
though.
he
Hold
wasn't.
up now. Hold
But
up
listen,
now.
I'm curious to get back to what Lou said. Do you up the offer? Do you do what you need to
What
do?
does up in the offer mean?
Right.
We don't know what the base
Well, we don't
offer
know what
is.
We don't
the
know
base
what the base
offer
offer
is. Like that's
So
something
how
we
do
don't
I
know.
would bet that they have at least 2 picks. Their pick of the young guys and Hero, and plus an expiring contract. I don't think that it's funny because I haven't heard Duncan's name fucking once. I've heard every fucking name that's tradable except
But
for that dude.
True.
That's
He
so
lives
funny.
again.
That's
That's
so,
only Harry that wants to trade him.
honestly the big winner, Duncan Robinson, and maybe Buddy Hield. It's just funny. My man went from public enemy number 1 in the city to not in trade talks. Remarkable
Okay, so
turnaround.
That man.
How high do you go? How much do you include to get it done? You're at the 11th hour.
I don't know what it is,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna go higher, and you know why? Because this is the position I have put myself in.
exactly. I
So
have to
I cannot walk into those doors and look at Jimmy and Bam in their face
Yeah.
and say I wasn't willing to throw in Jaime,
Jovic.
Jovic,
Oh my god.
or Duncan. Like,
I like
I'm
Jovic,
sorry,
not that much.
you gonna have to take both of them at this point because I'm not going to Jimmy and Bam and saying I just couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Unless you get the third team.
Right, but we're just right, but I'm just speculating without
yeah.
that team.
I just
Like-
don't see a construction with 2 teams.
Absolutely not. I agree
don't.
with you.
And I think
Right.
to get a third pick, you need to move Hero to a third team.
They don't like Miami enough. Like, I don't think they like what we have enough. Or
But they don't. We know they don't.
So-
Or the deal
Apparently-
would have already been done.
Breaking news. So apparently Dame's cousin tweeted out smokescreen, followed by I wouldn't buy anything Woj is saying right now.
Well, we know that.
Correct. We know.
Yeah, the streets
Oh
is
my-
known. The streets is known.
The streets know about Woj.
What
I
a
mean-
fall from grace for Woj.
Right.
Nah,
it's
but
so
Bond,
weird.
that's to us, like casual people, like my friends who are not online. Like I say, Woj doesn't know what he's talking about. They're like, you're
What?
crazy. They're just
Right.
like, you
No.
are being a Heat homer. And
Right.
I was like, no, like this is how like it works. And they're like, that's not true. They're like, you don't know more than Woj. And I was like, I guess I kind of don't, but like they're not really. I think publicly he's still like he's Teflon. It's just like
Right.
we just know too much.
No.
Well, I'm keeping receipts.
Okay.
Heard that, Brass?
Leave grass alone.
I'm kidding.
Y'all leave
I'm
grass
kidding.
alone.
We gotta leave
Everybody.
Brass alone.
Yes,
Yeah.
leave
Brass is
alone.
on vacation
Brass.
from us right now. It's
Yeah.
you know what it is. It's
Brass
just
has
like
our number blocked. He's like, any receipts mentioned, it's blocked.
no,
Right.
dude. You think that Cronin is not engaging with Pat Riley? Brass is not engaging with us. Dude.
Like all the muted words in Brass's list is like heat beat, receipts, hangover,
All our
time.
names, all our acts,
Names.
Dame. He.
Hang
Yeah.
over time.
Did you guys?
Separately.
Yeah.
I wanna talk a little bit about kind of the overflow of information we've had because that's been like even today we went
Exhausting.
all over. I'm tired. I'm fucking dead.
Yes.
And we even had
Exhausting.
dropping dimes return with what clearly looked like a fake letter that allegedly Pat Riley sent, which was very funny because
Was that what that memo was?
Yes.
Like I saw
Yeah.
a whole type.
That was a fake dropping.
you know what the
dimes.
tell was? The Heat didn't capitalize Heat. They do that for
Right.
everything. That's the
Yeah.
tell, bro. Come on, you got to do better than that. Dropping dimes.
That's so funny.
Droppy Baby says Ethan confirmed his fake. Yeah, no shit, Alex. It's like Ethan telling me a Rolex is fake when it doesn't have an R on it. Come on, bro.
The Rolex tick loud as hell.
I just,
Right.
bro, I just think that's funny. I've heard everything from Phillies in the game to Utah to I've heard all sorts of ridiculous things.
The
It's
Wizards
crazy.
too, apparently. don't know.
I haven't heard that
Just
one.
made it up.
I ain't
No.
hear that
I
one.
mean, shit, you will tomorrow.
OKC. Oh, if OKC gets it going, they're gonna get another.
Yeah,
point guard.
OKC. Yep, I have heard them.
He
Like,
wants to go
this
to
is
the
Elon's
Thunder.
fault.
Oklahoma City.
I've actually heard-
destination.
I've heard Oklahoma City called about Caleb, and I was like, I'm sure they did.
Right.
Hey, shit, we'll take one of those or two of those first round picks.
Yeah, no, and
There's-
No,
hey,
OKC's like,
we'll,
you can have your pick back.
we'll trade for Caleb.
That's
Yeah.
it. I'm gonna give
That's
you what
it.
was already yours.
Yeah.
Talk about stingy. Let's talk
They,
about okay.
but by the way, they'd also probably ask for a second.
Of course they probably did. We'll give you your pick and we'll take Caleb in a second.
And give us Jaime while you're at
Who's
it.
laughing,
Exactly.
bro? Second round picks are like that's Sam Presti's addiction.
bro,
He
Sam
loves-
Presti walks by a nickel and he picks that shit
Oh,
up.
dude.
Man. I swear. He's like, God, it's my fucking lucky day.
He's
Has
such a crap.
billions in his bank. And he's like, this nickel has made my day.
He walks by as a penny on the tail sides up and flip it
Yep.
to head so he can take it.
I'm feeling
Brush-
lucky.
brush
Another
it off.
second round pick.
Oh, that man collects quarters. That man has quarters of every state.
Listen,
Oh,
I
for
used to do
sure.
that.
I used to do that.
We all did. We all did.
He got a jar.
But he
He
got,
a
it framed.
jar
Not
with change in
Tiff,
it.
he got him framed.
He's
Yeah,
got
they're
one of those
polished.
Coca-Cola bottle to save his quarters and change and stuff. Hasn't opened it.
Yes. He got an old Poland Spring bottle with nothing but coins in it.
He got a binder for the extra ones, like the special ones, like a Pokemon card binder. Fucking-
He's like, this is the one I took off Pat Riley's desk years ago.
1975 Oklahoma, 1986.
Hey,
Yeah,
it's the one with the wagon on it.
He's like, I got that Amelia Earhart.
Speaking of wagons, did we see Kyle Lowry with Chauncey
right.
Billups and we're not going to talk
right.
about it?
Nope, we are not. And just like that, G.
Yeah, I know. Why you do that? That was
Welcome
that was
back.
one of my worst days. I was like, Kyle's gonna get traded, and he's with a canceled man.
These calling fake news.
It's never been more over. Honestly, with the rise in AI, I wouldn't be surprised if that was a Cronin tactic.
Ain't no way in the world you can AI that wagon. That wagon be dragging. Hey, they on strike right now. So somebody crossed the picket line to make that wagon if that was AI.
Shut up. Scabbing.
Oh my god! Have I ever told y'all the story when
To your point, G.
Have I ever told y'all the story when I was going to I brought a friend from out of town to a game, and we were getting in the arena, and like they have like the big screen outside, and they were showing like all the player introductions, and they showed Lowry on screen, and some guy just yells, "The dump truck!"
Oh,
That's great.
so rude.
That was like within a week. That was like within a week of having Kyle.
That's so rude.
I know, dude. I was
To
like,
your point though about like the oversaturation of just
Information.
stuff, like
Mhm.
Too much.
we don't have any real verified sources anymore because
Nope.
Elon.
Because
Like,
Elon.
and now everyone wants to troll. Everybody just
Mhm.
wants to just
Christian Hernandez.
cause chaos. It's the most like chaos inducing. Let's just inject chaos into everything. I hate it.
It's all Christian's
It's
fault.
so exhausting.
This is Christian's fault for the fake berry.
Christian and Elon.
It's Chris, I blame Christian and Elon. It's their fault. I'm and the other thing, guys, is just like I think that like I've never seen this before. Barry is on Twitter saying like I didn't say that or that's not true. Reporters never do
Right.
that. This man is like fucking name searching me like I didn't say that. Nope, this isn't me. Nope.
Yeah.
Insane.
Which people are fucking with people's names. Like these are professionals who like have their names attached to actual things. Credibility, right? Yeah. Trying to do other things in life. And you saw
that Portland fan like besmirch Barry's name for that report.
Oh, that white lady?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That's not okay.
I don't.
Alf said that was the female G.
Oh, he said I found G's burner.
Yeah. No one's hating like me. I think she also wished for Damian Lillard to never win anything ever in his life.
She did.
Yeah, she did. It was massive. Just
like a real fan.
Crazy.
Right. I'm gonna say this. I think it's okay for Portland fans to be unhappy, sad, off that he wants to leave. It's okay. You know why? Because it's human nature. Those are actually real emotions that you actually care.
Yeah. No one likes being broken up with.
Right, exactly. You just go too far when you start wishing ill will on people. This is where the madness is just like, we need to stop. But it's okay if you feel sad, and it's okay if you're like, fuck the Heat and fuck Dame. You're okay with that. I'm okay with that because those are real emotions. But when you start wishing ill on people, that's when things just become a little disturbing.
Yeah.
It's kind of the nature of fan. I to be honest, I haven't seen too many Blazers fans take it that far. I think it's mostly like I think it's mostly like, you know, kind of scorn lover. I'm sad, you know. I don't.
Right. It's the same weird ones.
He was the one. You know what I mean? He was the one.
Yeah.
But sit on it. Don't. I wish him all the best, but I hope he never. So then you don't wish him the best. Like you don't even. Why even preface it?
Don't even say nothing.
Don't
just.
The other thing, guys, that I
just lying. Just be out here lying.
Bond, you brought this up in the chat, and this has been like a conversation on Twitter. They're like, "Oh, this big three with the Heat would be better than the LeBron, Wade, and Bosh one." And I think all of us in the chat, Tiff, we were all like, "Bro, no way!" Like, and I even said, I was like, "Hot take." I don't know if this is a hot take.
Lying.
I love Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo is no Chris Bosh.
Right.
I love.
That's not a hot take.
I don't know if it's a hot take to people, but I feel like I had to say that. I love Bam. I hope he becomes better than Chris Bosh. He ain't Chris Bosh. Yeah.
And you know I am no LeBron fan, but Miami LeBron was a different animal.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
that man.
What a time!
And I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing Wade and Dame. Like
they're not even comparable games.
Yeah, this is it's the games aren't the same. And truth be told, all things being equal and everybody healthy,
we know.
Do I need to say it? No.
And that man did that with one meniscus.
With one meniscus.
Imagine if he had both. Imagine if that man had both. They invented the microscopic surgery like 5 years into his career. Imagine.
Exactly.
They filleted that shit.
Exactly. So we're not even doing that. That's
I'll say
that's nonsense.
Is the fit though, from a fit standpoint, it works so much better with Dame.
Yes, but that's different.
But that's different. Yeah. We can't sit here and say
it's a different
the talent compares, but what we can sit here and say is that the fit is probably better just because Jimmy's more of a natural second scoring option, Bam's more of a natural third scoring option, and you get Dame to shoot that shit from 35 and space the floor shit. It's a match made in heaven.
But flip it, Lou. Flip it. That shows you how much more talented the other three were.
Oh, for sure.
Because they were a horrible fit.
Horrible.
They made that shit work.
They had Chris Bosh spotted up because they didn't have enough space.
And they had baby Spo. They didn't even have
that's a different. That's a whole different story. You had this Spo over there. We went 4. I don't care.
Oh, if we had the Spo, that we don't talk about that enough.
Maybe 3, because last year Wade was kind of his knees were.
I don't think there was anything they could have done about that Spurs team.
Yeah, before. I mean, 3 for sure.
I think they were better than Dallas.
Oh, come on.
Let's not revisit that because we know the truth.
Move on.
Yeah. We don't got it. Yeah, but actually, so Franky, or somebody said that Jimmy's better as a secondary scorer. I actually kind of, you know, we can kind of start closing out, and I think this is kind of a fun thought exercise. Kind of, you know, let's imagine if Dame's here. Let's have a little fun. Bond, I kind of think that like Dame is a last shot guy, But I think Jimmy is like that 7-minute to like 1 minute takeover guy. You go what I mean?
No, I not disagree. Yeah,
and I kind of like that role,
I agree.
like Jimmy, like
clutch.
yeah. And then hey Dame, you're the shooter. You got the deepest bag. You got the last minute. That's all you, baby. Let Jimmy enter, because Jimmy has like an energy. Like when he gets on a roll, there's like something infectious about it. And he just kind of gets going late, and then I think it's fun to think about.
That's the loose point about like the fit of their games too, right? You either have your Bam Dame high pick and roll. You
Jimmy
can't
Dame.
really play a drop at that because Dame can take the top off. You have Jimmy Dame, right? You have Jimmy be your short roller. You have Bam in kind of your short corner, setting some pinch-ins and some other stuff. Like their games, there's not nearly the overlap in their games as kind of like the LeBron Wade Chris. But I agree. Like the acquisition of Dame kind of establishes a clearer, maybe not pecking order or hierarchy, but kind of maybe a more definitive kind of flow through our offensive progressions.
I also think it's good because you can go either player depending on the matchup, right? Like if you feel like Jimmy has a good matchup at the end of the game, maybe you want to go with him. Or if you feel like Dame has a good match, if it's a team that's playing drop or they're not so comfortable switching bigs, or if it's a team that, I like Jimmy against smaller guys all the time. So if you have I think the Warriors are like a good example, like Jimmy against the Warriors, I think Jimmy could get the matchup he wants and he could score over anybody. And as opposed to Dame, who can't score over anybody too, but doesn't have that like kind of bully ball mentality. I mean, doesn't have the body for it really.
Right.
Jimmy can get
but you also when they try to throw big bodies at Jimmy, you go into flip that, start doing DHOs with him and Dame gets to attack the drop like that, just wreak havoc on them.
Bam,
there's so much opens up.
DHOs.
Yeah,
it's fun.
It would be fun.
You want to talk about Duncan's gravity?
Yeah. You want to? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, talk about Dame.
We talking about Duncan's gravity.
Franky,
might I interest you in some Dame?
Will we get the elevator between Duncan and Dame that we've been asking for years?
Oh God!
No,
please.
It's like no nice things.
No, stop playing.
Okay, guys,
y'all really think? I'm not gonna say it, but y'all really think something gonna be if it materializes?
That's where I was about to go to. So to close out the show,
Duncan is not gonna be there. I don't understand why y'all really think Duncan is gonna be sticking around.
I think Duncan's here. No, I think Duncan's here.
Okay, because somebody need a shooter, and if you're involved in multi teams, something's gonna I feel like people don't realize we are gonna lose more than what we think.
I entirely agree with that. If
it's one of Kyle or Duncan because of the salary that people have to take back.
I've been telling you, I think Kyle's going to be here. I keep telling you that.
Yeah.
So
I think Kyle is going to be here.
Man, from your lips to God's beautiful ears.
I could be wrong, but there's just some reason that's telling me I'm not going to be able to get rid of this man. That he's sticking around.
Hold on. I'm glad someone in chat said this. Brian M in chat said if Hield is linked here, like you say, G, Dunk is gone. That's actually the construction.
Yes. That's
actually not true because Duncan cannot go out financially. The Heat cannot send Duncan plus other. They need the Lowry contract to make the figure work because Lowry has the 30 mil and you need to send him out. So that makes that construction. So like I saw people like the trade has to expand if they want to send Duncan out, and that makes it more complicated.
Right. But if you're bringing in Buddy.
But if you're bringing in Buddy, it's likely because Tyler's going to Indiana,
right?
For sure.
So Duncan. So I unless Duncan's going to another team, which you need to accommodate that salary, it just gets complicated.
Listen, I'm not worried about none of that.
He's the one name I haven't heard, which I think is.
I ain't worried about Duncan. I'm worried about
Mr. Lillard.
Is Hamish started? That's all I need to know.
Okay.
I'll give you a little nugget. Man. I talked to Leif today. And Leif said, he thinks that Hamish is going to get some starts. Probably.
Oh, for sure.
We both agreed that Love is probably going to be the day one starter, barring what happens in preseason. But, you know, we both kind of felt that, you know, Hamish and Leif is a pretty informed guy, you know, that Hamish is going to get some cracks at some starts.
All right.
Can I play a game really quick? Round the horn.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Who do you want? If you had to choose between the two, I got like 3 matchups. Tyler or Caleb? Go.
To keep?
To keep?
Yep, to keep. Everybody give me one.
Caleb.
Tyler or Caleb?
I go Caleb.
I go Caleb.
I go Caleb as well.
Frankie?
What else is coming in though?
And
No.
that's what I was see.
That's not the
I
question.
think Tyler
That's
Tyler
not-
gets you more.
I took that into account because I think
Right.
I think Tyler will fetch us more, make it easier. So I think Caleb should be the one to stay. But obviously, objectively, I'd want Tyler over Caleb. Let me be quiet. Caleb.
Tyler Duncan.
Tyler.
Duncan.
Duncan.
Oh man.
I'm not even
I
joking.
I'm so serious.
No, I prefer
I'm
Duncan.
thinking differently. I'm thinking I don't want to, I would like to have Tyler, but I don't want him starting next to Dame. I would like him giving
That's
me
fair.
20 off the bench because you're gonna
Yes,
need that bench
please.
scoring.
I agree with
Please.
your sentiment.
I don't want to.
entirely.
I just don't want to trade our
However-
backup power forward.
I don't. I just
Get
don't
out of
think.
here.
I don't
That's
think
why you got
Tyler.
Hamish.
Take me out.
I don't think
Brass.
Tyler's gonna go to the bench. That's just my take on it.
But it's
Bond
not
had,
his.
Bond had a great
it's-
tweet about that today. Or
It's
yesterday.
not his, but it's not his. It's
and
not
I
up
under-
to him.
Oh,
I-
G, I know
I
the tweet you're
understand.
talking. It isn't up to him, but if it's the tweet you're referencing, G, it's easier to start him on the bench and then bring him into the starters if it plays well than
For
it would
sure.
be to start him and like, oh shit, this don't work, then to
Yeah.
move him back to the
Yeah.
bench.
it's
Yeah.
like
I
emotion at that
also-
for
point.
sure.
They've changed the way they've done stuff. And by the way, like Dwayne Wade came off the fucking bench here.
Exactly.
Like-
So who are
Yes.
you? To,
Who are
Then
you?
start you?
If we get Tyler to buy into going back to the bench after he started last year and played
There's no
pretty well doing it,
And he should.
then it's Tyler, no question.
him to? We have to also like understand while we keep saying all these other things, this is his job and he has a boss. The boss is Spo. So it's not about buying in. We trying to win a chip. We got all these pieces. We need all these pieces to work together. So are you working together? Or are you working against us? Because if you're working against us, then we got to find somewhere else for you to go to.
All right, guys.
Which
That's
is what
it.
said Duncan.
Last thing, because we do got to get out of here. I'm gonna go around. I want everyone to give me their percentage that they think that Dame ends up in Miami. Tiff.
Ooh. 35%.
Damn.
Damn,
That's
that is
low,
that
Tiff.
is like
I
that
know
is
what it is.
Kyle Lowry's
I'm a-
3-point
I
percentage.
work in the school. I know it's low.
Tiff, are you more confident in Kyle
Not
hitting an
slow,
open
Tiff.
3 or that?
Oh, I'm more confident that Buns will hit an open 3. But I said 35%.
It's about his percentage.
Is this Buns on 2 days rest or is this back to back?
What a great
Oh,
great,
oh, that's a good
great,
question.
great question. Bond,
Back-to-back
percentage
wins is the
percentage
worst.
chance that you feel that Damian Lillard ends up in downtown Miami.
67%.
Nice, that's good.
Frankie's gonna say 68 and piss me off.
Right here.
See,
Yeah,
No, I'm
67
just kidding.
point-
I'm at
67.1.
75.
69 was right there.
yeah.
I'm at 75.
That's
it's gone
high.
down.
75 is high.
That's high. That's high.
It went down though. I was at 80 before.
I'm still at 80, so I think he'll be here more likely than not.
I was so sure you were gonna say could go either way.
Oh, yeah, I'm
All
at
right,
80%. It could go either way.
It could go either way. Yeah, I'm a 50-50 right now. I would have said 90 if you asked me 4 hours ago.
Ooh.
I am
Ooh.
genuinely scared of the Raptors offer. I think if Miami
And
can,
that's what,
if that falls apart, I think Miami is gonna be them because that fell apart last night.
I
And
thought Toronto already fell apart.
No,
you
but
said
I-
something about it.
Yeah,
being
no, I had
re-energized.
said that somebody told me that they're back in, and
Ah.
that kind of coincided with some other national media saying that they have been re-engaged in trades that is not Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a couple, I put a couple things
Yep.
together, and I was like, that's making sense. That deal scared that's the one construction that scares me because that is the one GM
Hell
with
yeah.
enough job security to take
Yep.
on an unhappy guy, and
Yep.
they can probably convince themselves that they're a Dame away from being really good, even though I think they'd just be Portland East. But regardless, that's the one obstacle I think. I think if that doesn't materialize, I don't think Cronin's going to have other options. And I think that's when Riley is kind of betting on Masai not making a mistake.
Yeah.
And I think that's ultimately what kind of the next couple weeks is going to come down to. And I know that Toronto's an easy team because they just like Miami, they like to like get in everything that they can. So they're an easy team to throw out there as a smokescreen. But I genuinely believe that they're trying. So that's where we're at. Everybody, that was episode 500. 11 years, 11th season of Miami Heat Beat on the way. We're going to be back weekly. We're back weekly. We're getting into. We're going to preview actual basketball stuff. We got the whole team. We're going to, preseason's going to roll out. We're going to do our post-game stuff. And I'm happy to be with my friends doing this again, another season. And I'm glad to see all of you in chat and the audience. We love you guys. We'll catch you next week. And if Dame gets moved sometime, we'll be live. Don't worry. So take care, guys. We will see you next week.